Hey, Alan, good evening to you. Well, as expected, the whistleblower in this case, Dr. Rick Bright, told a House subcommittee panel this morning that the country needs to have a coordinated national response to this coronavirus pandemic, and that includes securing more PPE. Now, President Trump made a trip to Pennsylvania this afternoon where he went to a manufacturing facility that creates PPE on what he says is a mission to shore up the national stockpile.
Needed us, and we rose to the occasion.
The owner of a major U.S. surgical mask manufacturing company told a House subcommittee the Trump administration ignored his offers to ramp up production in the early months of the coronavirus pandemic.
The DOD, the VA, the CDC, and HHS could have worked together to secure America's mask supply.
Whistleblower Dr. Rick Bright of the National Institutes of Health echoed those concerns before the same panel earlier, adding that 2020 would be the darkest winter in modern history if more isn't done at the federal level to combat the virus.
We do not still have enough personal protective equipment to manage our healthcare workers and protect them from influenza and COVID-19. We still do not have the supply chains ramped up for the drugs and vaccines.
Bright filed a whistleblower complaint claiming he was transferred from directing a vaccine team at the Department of Health and Human Services after he pushed back on the wide use of anti-malaria drugs, chloroquine and hydroxychloroquine.
When I spoke outside of our government and shared my concerns for the American public, that, I believe, was the straw that broke the camel's back.
HHS says Dr. Bright's complaint is full of one-sided arguments and misinformation. President Trump continues to call Bright a, quote, disgruntled employee.
I never met him. I don't want to meet him, but I watched him, and he looks like an angry, disgruntled employee who, frankly, according to some people, didn't do a very good job.
The president traveled to Pennsylvania to tour a personal protective equipment manufacturing facility and to announce an initiative to revamp the national strategic stockpile to make it less reliant on supplies produced in China.
We'll get our nation back to work, and we will build our glorious future with American hands and American grit.
The president says he wants to replenish the national stockpile by the fall.
Now, the CDC put out new guidelines. These are revised documents that were shelved a few weeks ago because they were deemed too specific. They're actually showing how to safely reopen businesses, schools, and restaurants around the country because of this coronavirus pandemic. We're here at the White House. I'm Skyler Henry, KPIX 5.